listening to CinemaScope. I'm Nazneen, and we're here with the actors and director and the team of the upcoming film Midnight Shanghai. And that's the vision of my friend Ricky Lee. I wish he was here to join us in the conversation as well. But I'm just speaking with some of the wonderful talent here. And Minnie, would you like to just tell us a little bit more about your role? Now, I spoke a little bit with Pong Tao earlier, and she mentioned she's an actress and a stunt woman. And Minnie, is that something that you do as well? Do you do any stunts?
Yeah, I do a lot of stunts. I actually specifically do a lot of underwater stunts.
Wow.
I specialize in underwater producing work, and I normally double for the main actors because a lot of the underwater stunt doubles are not around, not the size,
Not available as much, huh?
or, so I always end up having to double for them. And um, on top of acting, for the most part in this film, I'm actually a second assistant director to Hal.
Oh, now isn't that great to know? I love the fact that there's like Laura is multitasking and you're multitasking. Perhaps some of the others might be too. Second assistant director to Hal. So is that a new role or is that something you have experience in?
So I have produced for the past 10 years, and
Oh,
a lot of times when crew members fall sick or whatever, I end up filling in, and I've filled in many times as a first AD.
I see.
And so, did I say second assistant? Yeah, I'm first
You're the
assistant.
first assistant. Oh, I had a feeling. I was just going to
Well,
ask, are you
like,
how many assistants do you have on this film? But there you go. You're the
yeah,
first AD. Nice.
I've filled in many times, and I understand production enough wherein it kind of works hand in hand, like producers and first ADs. So
Excellent.
very easy transition for me, and I have first AD for a few feature films. So
I
yeah,
love.
it's just fun being in production. I Ricky actually called me into first AD for Hell before this
Yeah.
assassin came about. So
You'll be wonderful. I'm sure listeners can't see you, but you look so young and beautiful to be doing the role. I can't wait to see you on the screen, and that goes for all of you. Can't wait to see the film because it sounds so exciting. And Hal, I want to talk a little bit with you. Let's talk a little bit about your career. Are you new? First of all, are you a graduate of the NYU Tisch School of Acting?
Yeah. No. Tisch
Sorry,
School of
not acting.
Film. Yes. Yes. I
Tisch.
am. Yeah. I graduated from NYU. Film. Studying to be a director.
Yeah.
And yeah. So the way. Yes, I am tied with this film, or I, got involved is, I was screening my last film in Santa Fe. That's how I met Ricky. I was
Ah,
screening my film, Beyond the Curtain. That film got the director's choice at Santa Fe Film Festival.
excellent.
So yeah, and after Ricky saw it, he immediately, we kind of like had a conversation. We, spent the whole film festival together, and like, he was very nice to me, showing me stuff around where we started talking about this film. So kind of like the idea just developed from there. We have been talking on and off throughout the years about this film. And now, I'm just really glad that it got together and we can.
Well, congratulations on your other film making it to the film festival. I love to. I haven't. I don't think I've actually physically gone to Santa Fe to watch the films, but I have screened them online a couple of times, and I enjoy those film festivals too. Um, uh, you're inspired by Tarantino, and also is that a Chinese? The other director was that a Chinese director?
Oh, Quentin. Oh, the other guy, Wong Kar-wai.
Yes.
That I'm. Yeah, he is. I believe he's from Hong Kong. I'm not
Oh,
too
I
sure,
see.
but yeah, his films are mainly Asian themed, and he has such a, in my opinion, the most memorable visual style of like any director. He has a
Yeah.
very, very visual storytelling, and that's kind of like where I lean into. Like I like stories to be either like really, really artistic, very visual,
Yeah.
visually creative. Like David Lynch, that's another one of my favorite director. But otherwise, I really like fast-paced stories as well. So I kind of that's where I see, this is an action movie, but then
Yeah.
we have very underrepresented elements and things that we don't really see in modern cinema, Chinese culture and indigenous culture combined together in a West
Yes.
setting. So it's a great way for us to get the entertainment from, the West, fast pace, the humor, and then at the same time we explore the artistic element of, Oriental cinematography or
Have you
indigenous.
ever made a Western before, or did you ever think that you
Oh,
might be?
right. No, yeah, no, I have never made a Western movie. I think like to anybody, this is great, you know, like opportunity opportunity to like experiment or like to because like it's something that every director I believe want to make, but Western isn't very, there's only so many Western movies,
It's going
right?
to be so much
Uh,
fun. We've had several being made here. Ricky himself has starred in several westerns, Apache Junction, I think, Magnificent Seven, Ridiculous Six, like some funny ones and some action-packed ones. So he is not new to the western, so he can give you some inspiration too. And let's move on. I'm going to speak with Max again some more. You were telling us a little bit about your career, Max, in the, starting out in theater. And how did you get into TV? How did TV and film, how did that happen?
Well, at a certain point, it happened for pretty fast for me. But I mean, when you're looking for work,
Oh, true.
it's theater and it's storytelling. It's whether it's theater or TV or film. It just happened that I fairly early on in my career, I got into a show that was really well written and
Yeah.
it's still playing out there. 50 years later,
What was it called? Was it the
Barney Miller.
Barney
It
Miller? I
was a
thought that's.
half-hour comedy set in a detective squad room
Oh,
in Greenwich Village.
exciting.
So it was very very topical and well written, and we had a great ensemble, which is really the key to making all of this work. I
Yeah.
think to make it worthwhile is when everybody's working together to tell the same story. And I think we have that going here. And there's a little part of me goes each time we call it a Western, because that is a certain kind of, there's a sort of a kabuki theater nature to what a Western is. And
Yeah.
this story transcends and will unfold that. It's certainly set in
Oh,
the West, and there will be those.
I
And
see.
I
That's
love
true.
hearing what you're saying, Hal, about the, the action and the energy and all. But I just think it's a wonderful group to come together and an important story to tell.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that, Max. And I'm sure when you all have your conversations and I just like the chemistry between you all, even from the little that I have met you together. I just like that you have respect for each other and are working together in multiple roles. And you're wanting to speak with Hal to see how to improve your character. Hal is this young, wonderful director that I can see before me up and coming. I'm sure one day I'll see your films up there, ready for the Oscars. I can't wait and say, hey, I interviewed that guy. So for all of you, and especially Hal as a director, wishing you all the best in that. I do have some more time, and I do want to speak with Laura and Pong. Pong, let's talk with you a little bit. How long have you been acting, and have you ever been to New Mexico?
So I have not visited New Mexico yet, sadly, but I guess I will be out there
Yeah.
soon. I think my story is a little bit different. I studied audio and video production in the early 2000s, and I did not think I would ever be in front of the camera. I worked a lot in post production, production itself, being behind the camera, doing
Uh-huh.
sound, helping people with helping the gaffer and all this stuff. It wasn't until I would say 2019. So I was involved with productions on and off since early 2000s. But in 2019, I had a colleague who almost pretty much begged me to be the sister of the lead actor who is Asian. And so they said, Pong, it only makes sense if his sister is Asian. Can you please? You only have a couple lines.
Yeah.
Can you please step in and help? And so I said, sure. I did it. And in that moment, constantly my friends and my colleagues are like, Pong, you need to be more in front of the camera. Stop being behind the scenes. Be more in front of the camera. So I would say probably 2019 is when I kind of decided, okay, why not? Different challenge. Let's, instead of always being behind the scene, let me try my hand at acting. And so I kind of started in 2019.
As a hobby, look at that, wonderful, similar to me. It's just like, you're in that situation and you're like, yeah, maybe I'll try it. It looks like fun. I know, Max, you're probably thinking, I've done this for years. You're a seasoned actor. You know how to do acting. But with the people like me are just doing it for the fun of it because we love being on set and just the atmosphere of the whole experience,
No, I don't have those kind of feelings. For one thing, I've often been, the least experienced, certainly in the show I was talking about. But I don't. It's more about art and heart, and then what we do together.
True.
Okay, that has a lot more to do with it. Yeah, no, I don't have those. I'm looking to learn. Beginner's mind.
Wonderful. Lifelong learning. And Pong, thank you for sharing that. Can't wait for you to visit New Mexico, and I will stop by and say hello to you all on set. And I think Pong, personally, I think you're going to look beautiful. You're so pretty. I think you're going to look so wonderful on screen. So yes, definitely do it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And Pong, we have a lot of really nuanced stuff to work out in what is this relationship between, there's some of it that seems sort of obvious in a way, but it's, kind of, if you're going curses spoiled again, if we're really getting into what are the dynamics of these relationships in worlds where we have these different power differentials and stuff, and yet everybody has to work it out. It's what's going on in the world today too, because this has been going on a long time. But anyway, I'm open to
I did want to speak with Laura, but we're running short on time. Laura, you are an asset to New Mexico. Thank you for making this film and helping Ricky to bring it to light. I know that Ricky had been trying for a long time. When he first mentioned Midnight Shanghai to me, it was just his vision. And I'm so glad that it's really coming together with this wonderful team. I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me today on the radio on CinemaScope. And I hope that I can get an update when the film is made and maybe bring you all on and when you're marketing the film. And Laura, definitely let's connect and maybe have an interview anyway another time to learn more from you. But thank you all. I would just like to say best of luck on this upcoming film.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Now, listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's show, and I hope that you join us again next week for another episode of CinemaScope.